Hey Sagittarius, it's Empress Rose here. Welcome to your reading. These are general readings, so take what works, leave what doesn't. If I don't catch your wavelength on this reading, check your other major placements. And today we are doing Oracle only over here on YouTube, and then on Vimeo we'll have an extended of a more traditional tarot spread that carries on this storyline here. I just was missing working with my Oracle decks, so here we are. All right, Sagittarius, what do we have for you? I have something on the floor for you. Okay. All right. Oh my gosh, you guys. Okay. Let's see here. What's behind me? Okay. Oh, right. Whew. Okay. All right. Okay. So we have Pleiades, double mission, channeling and uplifting humanity. To me, this is always about a conversation. This one is about a conversation that both people are going to really get a lot out of and benefit from. Both people or whatever group this is. Some talking needs to happen. And it's going to be good for everybody. Everybody's going to learn something. Everybody's going to grow from this. Everyone's going to develop from this. I mean, if they want. Learning's a choice that we make. So if anybody's available to do that, if anybody wants to learn, they can do that from this conversation. So what is this conversation about? Mirror. Who or what is triggering you? So something that you're seeing is more or less in perception than in reality. You're perceiving something and you may be, I actually feel like this is more projection, it just reminds me of like all the world's Aurora Sag blotch, right? When we put it on its side, we're starting to see that idea of like things are what you interpret them. So either someone here needs more clarity and needs to see something a lot more clearly. So that could be what the conversation is about, is that someone's not quite seeing something very clearly. They're seeing, if I said that, what would I be feeling? Well, that's not what's going on here. The other person said that. They might be feeling something different, and that's what caused them to say that. So something is a little bit upsetting to you. If something's upsetting you right now, this isn't to gaslight you and say, well, you're not seeing it correctly. It's just to say that you might be, it's worth considering that there might be a perspective that you're bringing to the situation that doesn't belong in the situation. You're seeing what you expect to see, not necessarily what's actually there. So, and it could be a little bit confusing, right? I don't know if you've been through like a funhouse hall of mirrors or something, but it is incredibly confusing and actually can induce a bit of a panic attack because it's just like, how do I get out of this? So that's what I'm seeing is there's a hall of mirrors. There's something here that's upsetting to you. And I think you need to have a conversation with someone about it and learn a lot. Ask some questions. When I start to feel myself upset, one way to handle that is to ask clarifying questions, definitely before going into accusation. So this could be wanting to accuse, but clarifying questions are a good way to deal with, because then you're not denying that you're feeling something and that it doesn't feel right. You're not pretending that that's not there, but you're also allowing for the possibility that someone meant something other than what you brought to it, other than what you thought they meant. So you're going to allow them an opportunity to explain themselves or share a different perspective or share where they're coming from. So what you're seeing is actually a part of you. So, and then there is this theory of like, you spot it, you got it. And I don't necessarily think that's always true, but when you're seeing something that you don't like in someone else, it is a good, like, I'm very alert to that issue. Why is that? It might be something that you sometimes do, but are ashamed of, or don't really look at, or haven't wanted to look at. So it's something at least worth asking with this mirror card of, am I seeing this clearly? Asking for clarifying information, asking for clarification. So we also have a fiery climax approaches full moon in Aries. So something's going to become very clear. And then fiery climax approaches is just something can be very exciting coming through, but I also feel like a lot of clarity that could be surprising, something surprising happening. And with this conversation already, and it's going to be, everybody here needs to have this talk, needs to have this conversation that clarifies things. So you might be finding out something very surprising in this conversation, or it might end up being a very exciting, very useful, good conversation, right? Who's starting the conversation? I think you are. Be bold and make the first move, right? And then we also have you sort of in this like leadership of communication. So you're being bold and making the first move. This doesn't mean you're going in unprepared. This doesn't mean that you're going to start this conversation without any preparations, but and this isn't rash. This isn't just blurting something out necessarily. Sometimes there's a time to do that, and maybe that's what this is talking about too, is you may just like blurt something out, although we're not getting the blurting out card. Scorpio got that card. There is this like something exciting happening, but you have to initiate something here. So this is cardinal moon. You're taking leadership. You're initiating something here. A lot of initiative. And so maybe this can be as simple as just asking the clarifying question. And like, what did you mean by that? You know, you don't even have to go into how you felt when somebody said something or whatever. You don't even have to go, you can, that's useful. You know, when you did that, I felt this. You know, nonviolent communication might be a good skill to bring into this conversation, but it might not even, it doesn't even have to be that complex. You can just ask like, what did you mean by that? Or, you know, I think I might be confused. What do you mean when you're saying this? Or what do you want? And so they may end up blurting something out. They may be the one blurting something out, but you're coming in and you're initiating the conversation. You might consider doing that with a question, is what I'm seeing with this mirror. You don't want to come in making accusations because they're all going to come right back at you. You want to come in asking questions with an open mind. Someone else may blurt something out, but I don't think you want to do that. Birthing a new age, birthing new creations, dreaming a new world into being. This is going to change how you relate to someone, how you relate to a situation. It's going to change the situation. It's going to make it a totally different situation. Once you get this clarification, it's going to change the dynamic quite a bit. Yeah, this all seems really like there's a conversation. You've got to start it. You're not seeing things clearly here. You've got to start the conversation. It may go a very surprising direction, and it's going to create a new relationship, a new type of relationship, or a new, something new is going to come out of it, a totally different direction. And how, like, if this is about a relationship, this would be like really thinking beforehand about what you want out of the relationship, what you want this to look like, what sort of outcomes would you anticipate here. Be bold, make the first move is often about that planning as well. So thinking about what it is that you want, what's the best possible outcome for this relationship, and how can you make sure that you get to that through the questions you're asking. Right, you're not going to be able to control the outcome, but we are headed someplace cool, someplace new. We have these two cards, Birthing a New Age and the Pleiades cards, are both about a new, more uplifted situation that's healthier, that's better. And we're seeing that you're not seeing something clearly. You're going to need to, the ball's sort of in your court here. You've got to initiate something. You've got to be proactive about something. And it could go in a very surprising direction. So here, I would say, like, sort of beneath all of this, like, activity, these conversations, this new direction that a situation has potential to go on, if you can get some clarity and you can ask these questions. We have meditate and contemplate. So new moon in Pisces. This is to me, this is about this conversation about not knowing where it's going to go. You have no idea. If you think you know where this is going to go, you're wrong. You're very wrong about that. You don't know. You're projecting where you think it's going to go. And that's why these questions are so important, is because you have to have that possibility that you may not be seeing something clearly, or that you don't actually know. So thinking that, this is very cynical, this is very, being open to infinite possibilities is where the power is at here. Being open to all sorts of different things being true, or not being the way they seem, or not being the way you thought they were. And then we have meditate and contemplate. And I think this is about this conversation, like, because these two fishies are sort of swimming around each other. sniffing each other out like dogs in a dog park. The new moon is about not knowing. There's not, like, you're going to know. There's a lot of clarity coming in. But this is about not knowing, and just kind of feeling something out. Meditate and contemplate. Thinking something through. I feel like meditate and contemplate. So this could be coming from a very thoughtful place, coming from a well-grounded meditative place, where you're very grounded, you're very calm, you're very in touch with your own feelings. And then we're also thinking through a situation. So we're using both the heart and the mind, and these two things are coming together. I think it has to do with this conversation and this give and take and this back and forth that's going to happen. But your job is going to be thinking about what they're saying, paying attention to how you feel, responding to how you feel, giving that back out, receiving what they're saying, thinking about it, understanding it, making sure you're understanding, checking for that understanding, seeing how you feel about something, thinking about the best way to communicate that. So we're really flowing here between the heart and the mind. We're making sure we're not suppressing our feelings, we're not denying them, but that's where the questions come in. It's a way to acknowledge that you have feelings without necessarily like blowing a whole situation up. So asking for clarification about your feelings. So just having really good connection here between the heart and the mind, and then having a really good connection with the other person's feelings and the other person, what they're thinking and what they're feeling. So there's just a lot of flow. Both people, you can't control what energy the other person brings to any kind of conversation, right? You can pick your timing a little bit, but we're making sure there's flow between us, and if there's possible to be flow with the other person, and it looks like there is possible, allowing that to exist as well, that flow with the other person to exist. So yeah, heart and mind present here. Okay, it's just like, I don't know about this deck, and then it just like, okay, yes, you do know about this deck. All right. Weaving flowers, I love this. This is creating a new reality. This is creating a new reality. You're creating something new. You don't see where you're going. This is like about paying attention to your feelings and integrating them into reality, integrating how you feel into reality, and not necessarily by saying, this is how I feel. So, right, our feelings are always correct about how we feel, but they're not always correct about, we're not always reading a situation perfectly, right? And that's been something, that's always disconcerting when someone's like, I feel that you think that. And you're like, well, I don't think that. So I don't know where you're getting that feeling from. And I don't know how I can help you with that, because it's not real to me. What you're saying I feel and what you're saying I think isn't real to me. So I don't know where this conversation can go from here, because how would you know that? How would you think that you would know how someone else feels and how someone else thinks? Why? An interesting question would be, why would you think you know more what someone else thinks and what someone else feels than they do? Like, certainly people lie and cover those things up, but why do you think you know better than someone else? So that's a little bit of the question I'm seeing here too with this mirroring thing. Like, why would you think you would know someone else better than they know themselves? May ask questions of them, and ask questions of yourself. Like, what would cause you to think you know that about someone if you've never asked? So weaving flowers, birthing a new age. So this is about creating some sort of new reality, but it is sort of on instinct. It is sort of on intuition, and it might even be on that combo of thinking and feeling. And we're creating a new reality from this place. But see, she's not really, she can't see where this is all going. She can't see what she's creating. She can't see the things. She's just receiving these things and putting them together. So this could be about like just feeling things and making a new reality from that. But there's also this sense of it needs to be checked with checking in with someone else, because everyone's got their own inner universe going on. You don't know what's going on in someone else's. So weaving flowers, this is about birthing a new age, creating something, right? She's creating a blanket out of these feelings and ideas, and she doesn't know where it's going, but she's definitely creating something new. We also have no rain today. So this is taking things one day at a time, one step at a time, not running ahead, not worrying about things, not letting what's gone on in the past or prior experiences with other people, with other situations, color and determine what you're seeing today. This is also about getting clarity in the here and now. What's now? What's today? It's about taking one day at a time. It's about being here right now, not being in the past and what went on with somebody else before, not being in the future and what you're worried about is going to happen tomorrow or whatever. This is about being here and now. And if it's not crappy now, then don't make it crappy by talking about or by projecting what you think is going to happen, when you think it's going to get crappy again, when you think it's going to start raining again. So we're not going to be projecting into the future. We're going to take every moment as it is. We're going to take things in a way at face value is how I feel like this. We're taking things step by step at face value. This is going to create a whole new dynamic with a relationship with someone else, maybe even a group dynamic. We have Sea Witch here. This is somebody's been practicing, or she wants to go somewhere. She wants to do something, and she's very frustrated at not having the skills or abilities or the resources to do that. There's a sense of having practiced something, feeling more ready for something than reality is allowing. It's like what's available and what's real feels like it's holding you back. You have a companion here. There's someone with you. You're not alone, but you're just not able to go where you want to go. There's just a sense of not having the power, not having power to make something happen, to create something. She does have a sense of powerlessness, and she's very tired of it. So somehow this relates to this conversation. Maybe you're seeing something and you feel like you can't change it, and you need to have some sort of discussion and not assume the worst. I mean, there's a lot here about not assuming the worst about someone else or the situation. There's a lot here about seeing reality for what it is, or taking things at face value, not projecting onto things, but taking things at face value, not ignoring your feelings, but taking things at face value. And this is going to help create a new reality. And there's some kind of conversation. So this is a frustration with what is, and wishing it was something else, and wishing you had the power and ability to make it something else. And this is saying like you do, but you're going to have to be very open-minded to other people and their perspectives. And you have support here too. You have the ability to change a dynamic. But so far you've just been playing at it. And this is time to really do the real thing. All right. So Sagittarius, I hope that was helpful for you. And if this is a storyline that you connect with, you can join me over on Vimeo. The link should be in the description box below. If not, I'll see you in a couple weeks for another reading.